Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, Mr. Abdulrahman, the journalist. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Amr.
And a very good afternoon to you. Hello to you and the distinguished viewers.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. And let me start straight away, Mr. Amr, by asking you about the latest attack that we've seen, the Israeli strike on the Tabaim school, which was sheltering displaced Palestinians in eastern Gaza City. And now we are getting reports that the number of deaths has risen to over 100 souls. How do you see this latest escalation, Mr. Amr?
Well, hitting a shelter that is saving refugees of civilians of the Arabs in the occupied land or the land under siege is another war crime, another Nazi crime against the Arabic occupied land and the Arabic nation at all, not just in Palestine, but another crime against the Arabs in each and every place in the world. This, and again, this is another brutal crime against humanity.
Yes.
I believe that we share the same feeling with nations right now in Europe, in the US, in Australia, in Russia, in each and every place in the world. They feel and they condemn and they refuse the continuing of the brutal massacres against the civilians in Palestine. We are sharing long and strong wave of refusal, of condemning, of standing and awakening the awareness all over the world. I remember today that on the day of June 4th at the year of 1967, before that day, we had as Arabs full control on Jerusalem, most of the land of Palestine, and we have lost all this. We have lost Golan. We have lost many territories throughout the Zionist existence, occupation.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
It's time to raise the same awareness in the Arab nation, and it's time for a united situation against those brutal attacks that will continue and more, taking advantage of the unstoppable support by the U.S. and Western countries to the Zionist existence, with military aids, with political support, with each and every situation that is supporting the crime, supporting the criminal. They are supporting a war criminal, which is, of course, not just Benjamin Netanyahu, but all of the leaders of the Zionist existence.
Absolutely, Mr. Amr. Now, we've seen some of the reactions, from different global powers, and the Egyptian Foreign Ministry has denounced the continued violations against the Palestinians, as well as, the disregard for any international humanitarian law. And the statement said that Israel's deliberate killing of unarmed Palestinians shows a lack of political will to end the war in Gaza, as well as shows how the world seems to be powerless in order to stop such recklessness and such behavior. How do you see international community's response to this latest attack, Mr. Amr?
Well, let me start with the Egyptian situation, which is respectable as the usual, as we have taken not just a situation, we have taken a whole lot of strategy against the Zionist existence. We have stopped the plot of migrating the Palestinians from Palestine to other countries like Egypt or Jordan. And we have made it clear to the whole world that a Palestinian state is an ultimate solution, and no other solution could be reached. This is a very important situation, and of course today we have condemned the massacre, as well as as Arabs, we are still paying the price of what happened of June 5th of 1967, but also the international community has raised the level of refusal and condemning and standing against the brutal attacks, the Zionist attacks against the Arabs in the occupied land. And I could say today that almost of the Palestinian lands are being occupied. Now Gaza Strip is being occupied, Rafah, the Palestinian Rafah is being occupied. Each and every step, each and every place, each and every centimeter in the Palestinian lands, either occupied or or under siege or under control of the Zionist existence.
Absolutely. Mr. Amr, we've also seen the government media office in Gaza condemning this attack, condemning such a horrible massacre, really demanding the international community press on the occupation to stop such genocide crimes against civilians and displaced people. We are yet to see a strong comeback by any international organization or a member of the international community to prevent such genocide crimes from occurring in Gaza.
Well, of course, we have witnessed very positive situation by the international organizations like the UN, like the UNRWA and other organizations that has changed its way of thinking. It has changed the situation 180 degrees. That has never happened before, because it has been clear to the whole world who is the criminal. For more than 100 years, we have deliberately made it a false vision to the nations that the Palestinians is terrorists or barbarians or whatsoever. Now the whole nation, including the United Nations, realizes that the Arabs are the most civilized nation that is taking more and more massacres and still holding on to the international law and still having the patience for the international community to interfere and to stop, to put an end to those continuous massacres. And of course, we should realize that the Zionist existence doesn't understand but the sound of force, the sound of strength, the sound of strong statements. We need total withdrawal of the Israeli troops from Gaza Strip, from Rafah, the Palestinian Rafah, from all of Gaza Strip, and we also need for the exchange of hostages to include the Fatah leaders like Ahmed Saadat, like whatsoever, like al-Barghouti. We need all of the at least the heads of the hostages and those who are in the Israeli prisons to be released. And of course, only the Gaza people can only run their own place, their own sector, only by their own administration after the huge price that they have paid. And of course, we can never accept any international forces from outside to come and run Gaza Strip. As we all know, most of those international forces can be belonging and representing the Western front, the Western support to the Israelis. So we need for the Israelis to hear a strong sound of force, strong sound of firm statement that will push them, put their back to the wall. We don't need any interference from Iran. We don't need any interference from Turkey. We don't need any interference from any abroad powers. Only the Arabs should unite their efforts and regain their lost land.
Absolutely. On that note, I'd like to thank you very, very much, Mr. Amr Abdulrahman, our journalist and our guest for the afternoon. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and your insight on today's edition of Arab Affairs. And still continuing with more news, the Palestinian presidency also condemned the massacres by the Israeli occupation army, saying it is a continuation of the daily Israeli massacres in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. We have the details. The Palestinian presidency condemned the massacres by the Israeli occupation army, saying it is a continuation of the daily Israeli massacres in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. Spokesperson for the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Nabila Bourdaina, urged Israel's ally Washington to put an end to the blind support that leads to the killing of thousands of innocent civilians, including children, women and the elderly. Palestinian government media office in Gaza condemned in strong terms the horrible massacre, demanding the international community to press on the occupation to stop the genocide crimes against civilians and displaced people. It added the occupation forces hit directly at them during their prayers, which led to the high death toll, adding that medical and relief teams could not find or recover their bodies until now. After the school massacre, Hamas said that it is one of the horrible crimes done by the Israeli occupation in Gaza, saying that it is the most bloody incident, describing it as a dangerous escalation in the war in Gaza since October 7th. The Arab Parliament also denounced the incident, describing it as a terrorist and inhumane act and a flagrant violation of all international laws and norms. Qatar and Saudi Arabia condemned the strike, which came as mediators were pushing to resume ceasefire talks. Also, Egypt, the United States and Qatar have scheduled a new round of ceasefire negotiations for Thursday, as fears are growing of a broader conflict involving Iran and its Lebanese ally Hezbollah. Jordan also denounced the Israeli strike, accusing it of trying to impede and thwart the truce talks for next week.